That won't allow people to plan. At every stage, the government has taken weeks from these reports to actually provide certainty to the industry. The industry needs 3 months preparation from the point of certainty. So I ask my right honourable friend to look again at this timetable for that task force report, to bring it forward so we can open up our international air travel and make sure that Britain is open for business.
That's the thoughts of Theresa May. Straight away on that, she's very clear. It won't do. This will not help an industry that's been absolutely battered. So let's talk again to a friend of the show. Welcome back to Julia Lo Bue-Said, who's CEO of the Advantage Travel Partnership and represents independent travel businesses across the UK. Hi, Julia.
Hiya, Colin. How you doing?
I'm all right. Your intro's quite long. You have a lot of things going on there, representing this and CEO of this, which eats into our time. How are you feeling tonight then, from, first of all, a personal point of view?
Personally, I have to say, as the evening's gone on and I've had various messages from family and friends and, football clubs and all sorts, I'm for the first time, feeling very optimistic. And I was thinking about this, and I don't want to say cautiously optimistic from a personal perspective, because I think we've had such a tough year. So I am optimistic. I've got barbecuing, I've got friends and family gets together in the diary already, and I know a lot of your callers have been talking about that. But frankly, we need something to look forward to. And it was the first thing that I was really excited to actually see, a very blank diary. All of a sudden, I've got a couple of weekends busy now, which made me feel really good. So, I'm feeling happy. From a personal perspective, I'm feeling happy this evening.
Professional, do you agree with Theresa May? Has there just been not enough time left to save the travel industry summer?
I do agree. I think on one hand, this is where, my cautiously optimistic hat goes on. And I think, as an industry, as you quite rightly say, it's been tough. If all you sell is international travel and that just happens to be the business you're in. And this is a lot of small businesses up and down the country which sell holidays and sell, tickets and flight tickets for friends and family visiting different countries. It's been devastating, really, really tough. And it's worth remembering the travel industry's never recovered. So whilst we had different, relaxation restrictions relaxed throughout the last few, months and even last year for hospitality, etc., travel's never had that. So it's really tough. But Theresa May's absolutely right. The travel industry, unlike many others, we can't flick on a switch. We can't all of a sudden get the stock in. There is a huge operational process that needs to be underway in order to help consumers who want to travel for the summer, families that want to be reunited, to get on those planes, trains, ships and boats and whatever else, to set sail and to go to visit, to travel. So I think in one hand, it's a positive. It's the first green light we've had. It's the first light at the end of this dark tunnel. But there's a huge amount that needs to be underway. And actually, I did count them when I was waiting, 49 days between now and the 12th of April. I'd like to have thought the government, through its task force, which it's now putting in place again, could come up with something pretty quick. I don't see why we need 49 days to put together a plan. So I think she is right, and I think anything that the government can do to really support aviation and the travel industry in general would be welcomed. And we're a sector that employs 1 million people, huge economic input into the country. So it's really important that the government really does everything it can to support the industry and all the people and businesses that are involved.
Yeah, take a stupid lad and explain this to him. The industry needs to prepare to make solid. What is that? Is that health and safety? Is that actually just getting the planes up and running? Is it because I'm assuming those who are not working in your industry want to work, so that doesn't need a long time to turn that around. I'm confused. Is it health and safety? Is it schedules? Is it air traffic control? Are these the type of things that can't just be turned on in a week or two?
Absolutely. And I can't remember the period of time, but even pilots who haven't flown for a period of time have to be retrained, or they have to go through, like a kind of a reassessment or, a kind of a refresher. That's the word, a refresher again. So there are the logistics. It's a bit like all of us. If we're out of work for a long time, we can't just go straight back into the workplace. We have to review and retrain. And also, protocols have changed, safety measures have changed. I think the other really important point is what we don't know from any of the detail thus far is actually how are we going to be able to travel and what is going to be required. Are we going to have to test? Are we going to have health passports? If we are going to have to test and it's foreseeable that could be with us for a period of time, we have to have affordable testing, because the testing that's available now, the private testing, is extortionate. So there are all these things that need to be put in place to not just switch the light on for travel, but make it affordable and make it available to those that want to and need to travel.
The vaccine passport's a really interesting conversation. We're going to have it tomorrow night between 11 to 12 in this show. Is it a backdoor way to mandate a vaccination? If you're saying, well, you can't travel without it, what you're basically saying is you're stuck right here in one country, like people would be stuck in Cuba, to go and get unless you've got the vaccine, unless you have that passport. It's a really interesting conversation. It's not the same as I had to get jobs in order to go to Kenya. That's my choice. I could have went somewhere else. I could have went to France. I could have went to Spain without that vaccine. I could have went to Germany. I could have went to Barbados without it. So is it right to say, hey, you need a passport that says you have a vaccine in order to travel internationally? I think there's a lot to unpack there, and I can see both sides. We're going to talk about it tomorrow night from 11. I think, Julia, the second that foreign travel is allowed, that your industry is going to experience a financial boost like you've never seen before. Just only know that from talking to my friends. I only know that anecdotally. But if you ask me now to bet on it, I think it's one of the biggest bottlenecks there is. It's what people save up for and look forward to every year. And those who can are going to want to get away as soon as they can, I think.
Absolutely agree with you. And that's why it's so important that the government work with industry to make sure they can put in place some really clear solutions and affordable testing so that travel can restart. And it can, we're an industry that helps provide dreams. We sell dreams, and there's obviously other parts to it, but actually we want to keep that dream alive. We want to support customers so they feel confident, so they can book through their trusted professional. And the other really important thing is there are very flexible options out there. So if you book with I think I've said this on your show before, it's about booking with someone you trust, booking with a human trusted agent or a human trusted provider that can offer you flexibility, and you feel comfortable and confident that they're there to hold your hand the whole way through, because travel has changed. Travel is not what it was like pre-pandemic. So we've got to make sure that we can entrust somebody to take us on that journey.
So the one date that seems to be the sticking point is, that we're not going to hear anything until April 12th, which is, as you say, over 40 days. There's a task force looking at this at the moment. Would your message be very clear, which is, yes, all due diligence, public health first, but maybe would you ask the government to revise that date, try and get there quicker?
Absolutely. 49 days from today for an industry that is absolutely key to economic recovery. I would absolutely, urge the government to be bringing that date forward. And it's great news. They are working with industry. The Global Task Force will do that, which is really, really important. But businesses really need to plan. The industry needs to plan. And if we are going to help save customers to think about the summer holidays and their travel plans, then we need enough time to do that. And 12th of April just doesn't give us enough time for a plan to be presented, let alone having to enact that plan thereafter.
Julia, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a good night. Thanks for joining me.
You too, Colin. All the best.
Thank you. Take care. All the best.